Okay, so we're going to talk about some stuff here that they talked about in the dev stream today. Where should we start? Let's start with the biggest news is that Freddy is coming to all platforms. They said, is Freddy coming to Switch? They said yes. Not only is Freddy coming to Switch, also coming to Stadia, also coming to Windows Store. I don't remember if he mentioned mobile, but I would assume if they have gotten the deal for Freddy to come to Switch and Stadia, that they would be working out the deal to put him on mobile too. So that is huge news. This was a very difficult license to deal with. The fact that they have made some headway on this is incredible because, as I've talked about in many videos, if you're familiar with my channel, this license became even more complicated. Okay, so let me back up. When they first got Freddy, they said, we want Robert Englund Freddy. The movie studio says, we're not willing to give you Robert Englund Freddy. We're going to give you Jackie Earle Haley Freddy from the 2010 reboot remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. And they're like, well, we want Robert Englund Freddy from 1984, whatever it is. I'm sorry if I get the dates wrong. And they said, well, we're not prepared to give you that. We're prepared to give you 2010 Freddy, take it or leave it. So Dead by Daylight said, any Freddy is better than no Freddy, we'll take it. So we have the 2010 Jackie Earle Haley version of Freddy in the game. Since that happened, we've had a few different things where people have said, man, Quentin doesn't really look like the actor who portrays him. The actor went ahead and said, Kyle Gallner said, look, people complain to me all the time that my character doesn't look like me in the game, and I'm willing to work with you guys for my likeness rights to make that happen. Of course, it isn't just up to Kyle. The Nightmare on Elm Street people would have to agree to that. Since that happened, then the Nightmare on Elm Street license split. Not Clive Barker, my bad. Wes Craven, the creator of Nightmare on Elm Street, rest his soul, his family reclaimed the rights using the copyright law in the United States, reclaiming the rights of Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street within the United States. So this fractured the license. This meant that Wes Craven's family owned the rights to Freddy within the United States, and the movie studio owned the rights to Freddy around the rest of the world. So it becomes very complicated for a global game like Dead by Daylight to get these two parties to agree and move forward with any kind of negotiations. The fact that Freddy is now going to be on Switch and Stadia, etc., means that they have gotten these parties to come to the table and agree to work together with Dead by Daylight regarding Freddy. Now, in the very least, we're going to get Freddy on every platform, it would seem. But the fact that you've entered these negotiations with these people and had agreements with them, I would assume that they have sat down with them and said, well, what else can we get? Hey, can we get Robert Englund Freddy now? Can we get Kyle Gallner's face and retool Quentin? Can we get alternate cosmetics for Freddy? These are all possibilities that look much more viable based on the fact that they have gotten some new contract work done with the Nightmare on Elm Street people. So I would say that is huge news. Keep hope alive that we can see some of this stuff happen for Freddy. Okay? All right. Now, cross progress was another thing that they talked about. They don't want to promise everybody that they're going to be able to carry your progress over from Xbox to PC, from PS4 to PC, from Xbox to PS4, or these next generation consoles. They're obviously working on it. They obviously know that you want it, but they don't have agreements with Microsoft and Sony, so they can't say anything yet. Nintendo Switch progress will be able to transfer over from Switch to PC and back and forth to join Stadia. Right now, we only have Stadia and PC that you can cross progress on. I transferred my progress over to Stadia from PC. I would just caution people to be careful before you create one of those behavior accounts, because there are things that are happening. People are losing their friends list and stuff, so it's a little buggy. I would wait before you sign up for a behavior account. It does award you 250,000 blood points if you do it, but I don't know that the risk is worth it at this point, given that people lost their friends list, or then when people disconnected their accounts, they lost all their blood points and their shards. Just be very careful surrounding the creation of that behavior account right now. I'm assuming that like once this gets further in and the Nintendo Switch comes on board, and if one day they do get Microsoft and Sony to agree and they have PS4 and Xbox on board, that those issues will be sorted out. But just know that there are some issues with the behavior account right now. So I'd be very cautious if I were you in regards of creating one of those accounts with the allure of the 250,000 blood points. Okay, now, Clown, they said, is the next killer that they're going to revisit and do a rework on. PS4 has huge frames issues right now. They understand this. And the explanation that I saw was that in-house, the developers have developer kits for PS4, and they didn't have any issues with frames on those. And apparently they don't react in the same manner that retail units of PS4 do. And that's why this patch was put forward, and they believed that everything was fine. And then people who are on retail units of PS4 suffered huge frame loss issues. So initially they couldn't really understand why that was happening, and now they're going to investigate it and see if they can figure out how to resolve these PS4 frame issues for all of you. I suppose Switch is probably having the same issues. So, you know, just stand pat, trust in the devs that they'll figure it out and iron it out for all of you. Let's see here. So perks that they mentioned are the next on the list to change, buff, nerf, probably buff for all these, I don't know, are Iron Maiden, Fixated, Lucky Break, Blood Echo, and Dead Hard. So those are the perks that are next on the list. And they also were asked about changing the POV from the Blight so it doesn't sit so low, and they said that requires some work for the animation team to fix that, and the animation team has their hands full with something else right now. And they also said when they talked about the perks they were going to change that these 5 perks might not get changed right away because they might have more pressing matters, which makes me think that there's like some bombshell surprise coming if they're like, well, the people who changed the perks are really busy right now, and well, the people who work in the animations are really busy right now. And they built up this anticipation like something's happening, and I don't know, I just always have this feeling that they're not telling us everything and there could be some kind of a huge bombshell coming. I'd love to see it. So who knows? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Anyway, the biggest news, and I saw people say, do Fog Whisperers know everything? No. And if I did know these things, I couldn't tell you anyway. But my reaction was completely genuine to this double blood point. I'm assuming it's double blood point. They said blood hunt, which usually means double blood points, from October 29th to November 2nd. That was a complete surprise to me. I had no idea about that. So that's some pretty big news too, because I really didn't think that there was going to be a double blood point event coming surrounding this event, and that it was going to be purely around getting your own extra blood points through those Pustula Petal offerings. So that's incredible news. Save your cakes if you got them. We're going to stack cakes and get a whole bunch of blood points during the blood hunt, October 29th to November the 2nd. What else have I got here for news? Oh, I'm not surprised that the Plague was near the bottom of the list for the kill rate, but I didn't know about any of this, silly zombie. I didn't know about Freddy. I didn't know about any of this. If I did know, I couldn't tell you anyway. But I didn't know about any of this. So the pig, 73% kill rate at red ranks. Is that just all Scorpions games? I don't know. That is incredible. That is incredible. What else do I have here for notes? Does that about cover it? Clowns, next one. I think that about covers it. Oh, Bloodlust, that's the other thing. Okay, so they talked about they were going to do some testing with Bloodlust. One of the data miners showed me a piece of code that said Bloodlust true or false. So it looks like they're putting a piece of code in that's going to like turn off Bloodlust to test it. So what I'm assuming they want to do is they want to get all of the loops and palettes and situations where not everything is infinite loopable to the point where killers need Bloodlust. So I think they want to rebalance maps and make it so that they can eliminate Bloodlust altogether. And this sounds like it's going to be a test towards that. So that's what I'm thinking about that. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of each other and out of the fog. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.